What's up, guys? This is Wenzes. Welcome back to my channel where we talk about creating an epic life on your terms. And today we're talking about growth mindset. I want to give you an introduction so that you really understand what the difference is between growth mindset and fixed mindset and what most people have completely wrong when it comes to this topic. So a lot of people say, yes, I do have a growth mindset or I want to have a growth mindset, but they're making those common mistakes that keep you stuck, and that doesn't really help you when you want to improve in that area and actually change your life. And I also want to give you a really practical approach as well. And so I will share with you the 5 daily mindset habits that I do and that have helped me to change my life completely. And they all come down to growth mindset. So really stick around for that. Before we get started, I want to remind you, if you want to dive deeper on this topic, on the pillars to the epic life creation, check out the webinar. You'll also get the free poster for the 5 pillars to an epic life if you sign up for the webinar. And if you really want to go the fast track, so work with me privately, that information you'll find below as well. So what is growth mindset and what is fixed mindset? If you watch a lot of those introduction videos that give you a quick overview on the growth mindset concept, it's all about learning that we're not the sum of what we've learned so far. So if you meet somebody who tells you, oh, I'm not good at math, that this is something that a fixed mindset personality would think. So when I say personality, I just mean your current state. So the concept of the growth mindset is that you can always change your beliefs about yourself and the things you learn and the things you can do. So if somebody thinks I'm not good at math, that's not something that has to stay like this for the rest of your life. So now let's get to the 5 daily habits that you can start doing today or tomorrow. You can do them in the morning and you'll see how your life will change so quickly because the things that you do will have a ripple effect. It is really an exponential gain. So in the beginning, your improvements will be really, really small. But with time, they will really grow so exponentially in a way you would have never expected. So the first daily habit that I do when it comes to my growth mindset is I set goals. Setting goals is an amazing tool. And I really recommend that you start setting goals on the long-term scale. So what do you want to achieve by the end of next year, or what do you want to achieve by the summer? And then to set goals, what do you want to achieve today, this week, and this month? Because our mind needs something to focus on. We have to actually be the master of our mind. In order to really have this growth mindset, we have to actually train ourselves. And guess what? If you don't put it in front of you, your mind will forget it. If you don't set those goals, you will not have the thing that you focus on. How many of us have just started the week, started the day, or just, started the new year and had no idea how we wanted to improve it? We just are busy or are upset about our life not being the way we would want it to be, but we don't set out to change anything. And so many of us actually have a problem with even deciding what we want. This happens if for years, decades, we have just completely neglected what we want. But you can practice this, and if you start writing your goals down, as in to say, I want to achieve this, I want to become this, I want to have this by next summer. If you start doing these things and you also really put it in smaller steps into what you want to achieve today, you will have something to focus on. There's this quote that's on the internet, supposedly by Albert Einstein. I'm not sure if it is, but it's very, very telling. And the quote goes, if you want to have a successful and fulfilled life, then focus on goals, not on things. So it's not about, oh, I want to buy me this car. It's about, I want to achieve this. I want to be able to put all of this behind me and become a person who can handle this. I want to achieve this. There are numerous studies, I think some of them even from Harvard, that really tell you that people who set out their goals and who write them down are 80% more likely to achieve them than people who don't. There is really something that gets triggered in our mind and it really gets stuck in there. If we get used to something, we want to focus on this again. This is how our mind is wired. So really start writing those goals down, and this is not something you're going to stop one day once everything everything is going great. This is really something that has to become a lifestyle change. So you really start doing this and you have no intention of stopping. Yes, I don't do this every single day, but the more days I skip, the more I'm aware of, oh, I'm actually getting off track. Because if you don't have a goal and something to focus on, you're much more likely to fall back into your old patterns and really live by those automated systems we have in our head that want to keep us where we're at, because our mind wants to keep us safe. Our mind will not help us to get outside of our comfort zone. We have to really push ourselves and then create a new comfort zone for ourselves, which then our mind will repeat over and over again. And then the circle continues. The second aspect is forgiveness. And forgiveness I've been talking about a lot, but what I don't think I've told you yet is that when you do forgive, what you have to do is you have to actually become a bigger version of yourself, because your current version can't forgive yourself. It can't forgive a circumstance, or it can't forgive that person who did you wrong. That is your current state. But a bigger version of you, and I really mean like you showing up bigger in the world, you becoming more of who you really are, you get to create a reality in which you can forgive that person, in which you can forgive yourself, because you're bigger than this. This doesn't affect you. So what do you have to do? Who do you have to become so you can forgive that person? Ho'oponopono really helps you with this. So this is, for example, saying, I forgive you. I'm sorry to yourself that you've been taking this with you for all this time. That you say, I love you to that person, everything in your mind, of course, and that you say thank you for the situation, because now I have information that I can clear. I have information that I can work through. I can become a person who has forgiven this, because I have to become a bigger person in order to be able to forgive this. This really helps you to step your game up, because it just helps you to find the way to the next bigger version of yourself. And you can do this on a daily too. So I actually do this all the time. Something triggers me and then I write it down. And most of the time I recognize it's not about that person particularly. It's not about that conversation I had. It's either something that I had with this person, some kind of altercation or discussion or whatever it is years ago, or it's probably not even about that person. It's about something that I believe about other people, or that I believe about myself, or about my current reality, that is just not serving me anymore. And I have to create a new story that I can stick to, that I can believe in, that will make me understand the situation, look at the situation, and not be triggered by it. If you want to know more about how to forgive somebody, watch my video on forgiveness. There I really go in there in depth. But this is really one of the most important aspects when it comes to growth mindset. It doesn't mean that you have to forgive that person in real life. It doesn't mean that you have to go up to them and have like a relationship that is all calm and beautiful. It's just about becoming somebody who's okay with this. And you can love this person from afar. You know, sometimes it's so much easier to love people in a really positive way that is just without toxicity altogether. But in order to have that, we have to create distance. We have to be okay with it being not that close to each other. And that's okay. That's not something you have to feel bad about. Just create a distance that allows you to love that person, to forgive that person, and you as well. Daily habit number 3. Your ideal day meditation. So I have a favorite meditation that is a guided meditation that I listen to on YouTube, but there's so many you can find and you'll figure out which one really resonates with you. But in this meditation, it's all about you sitting down or you laying down, whatever you prefer, and then you start imagining your perfect day. And here, the most important aspect is that you feel that day. So it's not about, okay, so I wake up, then I drive to work, and then there are no problems there, and then I meet my friends for lunch. On afternoon, I just go and read a book in my break, and then in the evening, I watch a movie. This is not an ideal day when it comes to growth mindset practices. And you'll see how those meditations help you by guiding you in a way where you're supposed to feel that day. So it's about, okay, you wake up, and you feel the sun around you. There's calmness. There's something that makes you feel all happy and all secure. And then you wake up and you see how everybody around you is happy and all is abundant. And you imagine yourself how you drink your coffee and where you're at. Like, are you somewhere where it's all sunny, or are you in your apartment that is like completely renewed? Whatever it is, like, you know how I really get in the mood like this. Like, I love this. This really gets me going because it's about feeling. It's about feeling what you want. And you'll see how difficult this can be in the beginning. There are a lot of personal development practices, and specifically when it comes to law of attraction, that tells you hold a positive feeling for 17 seconds. So holding this imagination of how you want your day to be, how amazing it will be, how it will feel for 17 seconds. If you're able to do this a couple of times every day, your mind will start wanting this more and more, and you will do the things that will get you this. Because it's not so much about like really being in that apartment. It's not really so much about drinking that coffee. It's not so much about like really having that quiet place that gives you calmness in like whenever you reach that goal. It's about you wanting this feeling now, because that's how you get there. That's how you actually get that apartment. That's how you actually get that calmness. When you really get to a point where you want this so much, this becomes a non-negotiable for you, and this is how you go through life. And once you do that, you see how your relationships change. You see how the things you tolerate become less and less. You really start expecting more from yourself in a positive way. So I'm not talking about, oh, I have to work 10 times more, or I have to just really do everything right. But you allow yourself less and less to do things that self-sabotage you. And then you really do this from an internal thing of, oh, I want to feel like this. Like, I'm addicted to this feeling, and I want to feel like this forever. See, so many people do meditation in the morning, and they believe, oh, okay, so I'm gonna do the right things in those 10 minutes, and then the rest of the day, I'm just gonna do my old habits again. I'm gonna dislike my day. I'm not gonna like this reality, but that's just how it is. That's the truth. But you know what's really gonna change your life? If you start believing that the 10 minutes you do the meditation in the morning, that's your new reality. That thing you do for the rest of the day, that is the thing you don't want anymore. That is not the truth. Because remember, it's never the truth. It's always an illusion. It's always a way how you see the world. It's always a filter. You decide how you look at it, and you can decide, do I want to live my life how I've been living it, or do I want to change something about it? And it really starts with those 10 minutes, because those 10 minutes are supposed to be the guidance for the rest of your day. So when you start really getting happy about those thoughts, about what you want, you start implementing this in the rest of the day. So my day now, the way I feel about it, this feels like the meditation I did 4 years ago. That really feels like this, actually feels even better. But what I'm saying is, if you're able to do this for those 10 minutes, this is supposed to become your new reality. So as long as you feel like, oh, I just have to do this and then I can go back to reality, the real thing, the real world, and this is just an escape, things are not gonna change. This has to become your new reality. Those 10 minutes will be the center point of it. Why do you imagine your ideal day if this is not what you want your reality to look like? But it's not going to be that you just kind of like disengage from this and then you get back to reality, you focus again on what's not happening, and then you improve it. This won't happen. This won't help you. It's those 10 minutes you need to enlarge. You need to make more of. And it doesn't mean you have to sit there and meditate for 24 hours a day. It just means that you start being so excited about this that you do this over and over again during the day, that you get back into the state, and then this becomes your non-negotiable. This calmness, you being okay, you being excited about reaching that and living that and feeling that, and start living and feeling that right now, because it's that feeling that will get you the reality and not the reality that will give you that feeling. With this being said, we get to mindset habit number 4, which is tracking. So you need to track your progress all the time. We've said this before, and it will really make a huge difference in your life. We can only improve what we already have and what we are excited about. If you're not excited and happy about getting the kind of income you get right now, you're not going to get excited and be able to improve that. If you only focus on what you're not having, what you're not getting, how bad your relationships are, that you're not able to make any kind of progress in like those 5 areas of your life is not going to improve. But what you can really focus on is the things that you do get better at. So when we talk about being able to write 2 paragraphs a week instead of 1, write that down, track it. Really focus on this, because our mind has a filter. It really only sees what it focuses on. If you go through the street and you see your friend, you're gonna hold on and you're gonna see that face and you're gonna recognize him or her. But that doesn't mean that you really look at every single face of every person that comes into your life or that you see on the street or in the subway. You don't really look at it. It's not what you focus on. The same thing if you say, well, let me focus on red cars. You will see how many red cars you will see. And that's how tracking works as well. If you want to improve how much money you make, you have to start tracking what you already take in. You have to start tracking what you already have a success in and what you're improving in. Without tracking your progress and the things that you're excited about, you will miss so many opportunities, ways where you could actually make huge jumps in your abundance in any kind of capacity, just because your mind doesn't filter out all those things you don't focus on, and it really focuses on the thing that you set out to focus on. Start tracking and you'll see how so many things will just show up. You'll see new ways of creating income. You'll see new ways to create amazing relationships. So let's say every week you see at work this poster for this great art class, and you always pass it by. You don't think about it. But if you start focusing on all the progress you've been making in your relationships and in building a tribe for yourself and meeting people who are like-minded, you're much more likely to see that poster and say, yes, this is a great opportunity for me to meet more like-minded people who will actually help me to become even more of the person I want to be. So whatever it is that you want to improve on, like, you can check out the 5 pillar to an epic life poster for this. So what are we talking about? Physical energy management? Is it your relationships? Is it your wealth management? Is it your vocation? Is it maybe your priority management? Whatever you want to focus on, best of course is to focus on all of them. Start tracking what you already have and start tracking all the progresses you're making. And you'll see how your mind will just naturally, without the need of willpower, create even more of this for you on autopilot. And that's when we get to the 5th and final growth mindset habit, which is praise yourself. A lot of people talk about gratitude practice, and I love gratitude practices altogether, but I also love praising myself, because then your gratitude really comes to how have I improved. So we're getting back to the point of growth mindset. If you start praising yourself for every single progress you've been able to make, so you start really getting excited about being able to write 2 paragraphs. You don't beat yourself up for only being able to do 2. And you don't tell yourself, oh, I should be working out 5 times a week. Why am I so weak? Why is everybody having such an easier time than me? You stop focusing on that. You start focusing on the fact that you were able to work out twice this month, when before that you didn't even work out once for months. You know, that's how you actually start creating a momentum. You start praising yourself for the little progresses you make. And that's how it actually really clicks in your mind. You create this pattern of, oh, if I do that progress, then I'm gonna reward myself by praising myself. This is something that really gets connected to your brain in such a subconscious way. It's an automated reward system you start building for yourself. You create this growth mindset and you make it so easy for you, because your mind gets used to the fact that every time you make a tiny little progress, you get a praise for it. That thing will just encourage you to do more. And on top of that, you'll also start teaching the people in your environment that you deserve praise, that you deserve to be excited about your goals, and that they should get excited about their goals and the things they're able to achieve as well. That is what growth mindset is all about. And if you practice those 5 daily mindset habits, then you'll see how your life will change tremendously and forever. It won't happen overnight, but it will definitely happen. You just gotta commit to it. So really start applying this. If you can't make all 5 of them all at once, stop beating yourself up for it. Start with 1 and then start adding one after the other and praising yourself for being able to do them. And if you're able to do them twice a week, amazing. And next time you're able to do 3 or even do 2 times and stay with this for a while before you can up your game, that's also something to be excited about, something to praise yourself for, and to really focus on the next things you want to achieve in this area. So let me repeat them. It's goal setting, it's forgiveness, it's feeling what you want to experience. So the perfect day meditation. It's about tracking your progress, and it's about praising yourself. I really hope that helped you. If you want to improve your life even further, if you're really ready to take the next steps, then definitely check out the webinar and really get excited about the masterclass even. And if you want to work with me privately, check out the link in the description as well. We can set up a discovery call. You have nothing to lose. And if you want to watch a video now on more habits you can include into your lifestyle, then check out my 5 self-love habits that changed my life. Like always, guys, I wish you a wonderful day, a great week, and I talk to you next time. Bye.